welcome to Being Power Woman, the talk show. I'm your host, Nancy Rivera, and I'm so happy that you can join us today. We have a special guest, and her name is Krista Anders. She is a coach in marriage and also the author and founder of the Author Academy. Hi, Krista. How are you?
Hi, Nancy. How are you? Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited to have you today because I think that what you do is amazing. So let's get to it. Who is Krista and what is she doing?
Well, first of all, I'm a wife. I am a mother of 4 children, and I have an adorable little granddaughter. I always say family first, so I wanted to lead with that. In addition to that, I am a wedding officiant, so I marry couples legally. I am the author of the book We Still Do, and I am a marriage coach. I like to support couples in marriage throughout their whole marriage, not just to the beginning and getting them married. And I'm also the founder of Author Academy. So I help authors write and publish their books.
That is amazing. And something that I learned is that you're not the only one who is a marriage coach. You work with your husband, right?
I do. I work with my husband. When we marry couples, we always offer a premarital course to them, and a lot of them want to take advantage of that opportunity. Mostly, it's the brides that grab their grooms and say, "Come on, let's do this." But in the end, the grooms end up loving it because my husband and I do it together, and we serve as role models for the couple. We've been married for over 20 years, and even though we're marriage coaches, we don't have the perfect marriage. Nobody does. So we just come at them with a lot of the questions that they might have. We are able to answer, and we give them a lot of support, which is something that I think that couples need. They can't just think that they're going to get married and live happily ever after, because there's always something that's going to come along, a bump in the road, and you're going to have difficulties with it. So we serve as role models for married couples. And we have a lot of fun with it.
That sounds awesome. So what was your motivation behind all of this?
Believe it or not, I worked in the medical field for over 20 years. And I became a marriage officiant by accident. My niece asked me to officiate her wedding. She was like, "You don't mind public speaking, and you have a great marriage, and I'd love for you to do that." So I did her wedding. And then after that, 3 more people came up to me and they were like, "That was beautiful. You made me laugh. You made me cry. Can you do my wedding?" So I was still working in my corporate job, but then I just started doing more and more weddings on the side. And then I quickly realized that there was a need for the premarital course, because I couldn't just marry people and not support them along the way. So my husband and I developed that premarital course. And then from there, we realized that they do have bumps in the road. So we wanted to be there for any reason that, any trouble that they're having in their marriage. We wanted to be there to support them for the long run, not just the day of their marriage. So that which also led me to write the book We Still Do, to reach a broader audience, to help married couples that don't have access to us.
Okay, so what is the biggest problem you can find when you're talking to a couple who is going, in that road to get married? What is that biggest maybe situation they have or problem they have?
So a lot of times communication is always a big one. And also expectations. We come into a marriage with all these expectations, and sometimes we fail to even tell our partner what our expectations are. We just think, "Oh, they're gonna know what we need and want." So, and then when they don't meet our expectations, then we get upset and mad. And that also comes back to the communication. Why didn't you tell your partner what you needed and wanted, and not just expect it to happen? I have a funny story I tell my couples is when my husband and I got married, we were very young, and before I got married, my dad and brothers would always on Saturdays mow the lawn and clean the pool. That they did all the yard work outside on Saturdays. So when I got married, I didn't even tell my husband that was an expectation because I didn't even know that it was. I just thought that's what husbands did. So I was like, well, why aren't you out there mowing the lawn? He's like, well, I didn't know I was supposed to. So, just things like that we talk to our couples about, like preparing them for what to expect to be married long term. And we talk to them, some of them plan on having children, so we talk to them about preparing for children. And people think that children is like, your marriage is going to be so wonderful and great once you have children, which children are great, they're beautiful miracles, but there's a lot of long sleepless nights and worrying and all the other stuff that go on when parenting your children. So we talk to them about that and prepare them for that. And we just serve them as good role models. Because when my husband and I got married, we didn't have the best marriage role models. So we did struggle a lot in the beginning because we didn't have anybody to turn to and get the support that we needed. So we were just like trial and error. I don't even know how we made it through, but thank goodness we did, because we have a wonderful relationship now.
Yeah, I can understand that part of the role model, because I come from parents who got divorced, and their relationship either was like the best one. I mean, there was violence and everything around it. So I did not have that couple to see and say, okay, this is how it's supposed to work. So I grew up like thinking that I'm this woman who is in power and I don't need a man and everything, blah 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 that we say. And no, that's not true. I mean, I have two kids. My daughter is 20, my son is 11. The parents are their daddies are different dads. And I did not have a healthy relationship because I did not have communication, because I never talk about what I expected in the relationship or the other way. And I just thought that I was this big woman who can do anything and I don't need that man beside me. And it's not until now in this relationship that I'm now that I can say that I am in a healthy, mature relationship. And it's because both of us comes from relationship that are of the same, that we not had that role model. So saying that, I understand that this is one of the biggest issue that we can maybe have when we're talking about marriage.
Yeah, I also find that even though people think they may have great role models, what their parents and their grandparents were taught 50 years ago isn't going to work in today's world, because things have changed so much in the last 50 years. So maybe their grandparent might think that they're giving them really good advice, and it was good advice back in the day, but those that just doesn't work here in today's day and age. So you need to really take relationship advice from people who are living in a happy marriage. I always say, if somebody's trying to give you relationship advice and they don't have a good relationship themselves, like run. You want somebody that's living and breathing that. And that's where my husband and I, that's what we do. That's what we live for, and I told you, we don't have a perfect marriage. We fight sometimes, but we've learned we have so many tools in our toolbox that we've learned that it's like when we get into a fight, it lasts like 2 minutes instead of like way back when we were in our 20s, it would last days. Like we'd hold resentment and like all these things. And it's like, we have all the tools to like navigate through any difficult situation.
Yeah, I think that's the perfect thing, that us coaches, we do have that box full of tools, but not everyone. So we still do. That's the title of your book. Let's talk about your book.
Okay, yeah. So I published my book this past June. I was going to do it in 2020, but then COVID and everything, so I just kind of delayed it a little bit. So I published on June 13th of this year. I've had a lot of great success with it. It's opened so many doors for me. It's helped my business And like I said, I've been able to be on podcasts and TV shows and just to help get the word out there for anybody that might be struggling in their marriage. I'm just here to serve them and help them because in the beginning of my marriage, struggled terribly. And I write about that in the beginning of the book. And I just wish that I had somebody like myself back in the day to turn to. So I'm very passionate about that. And I'm willing to help anybody that is in a healthy relationship that wants the tools to have a wonderful relationship. So I'm very passionate about that.
So what can we find in that book?
It's titled We Still Do: How to Have a Loving Marriage Long After the Honeymoon. I wrote the book so you can actually pick it up at any chapter that you want to. If you're struggling with communication, you can open up to that communication chapter. I include incorporating children in your marriage. So if that's something that you're struggling with, you can just go to that chapter. Of course I want you to read the whole book, but I kind of wanted it to be like your bedside Bible, if you will, to like have it. Oh, I'm struggling with this, so let me turn to that chapter and read about that. My husband and I have both lost our parents, so I wanted to include like, how do you deal with your spouse when they just lost their parent? So we've gone through that. So I wanted to put that in the book. I put a wealth of information in the book. And of course, yes, I do want you to read the whole thing. But if you, like I said, just pick up any chapter that you're struggling with, and it can be like your bedside Bible. That's what I wanted it to be.
That's good. And where can people find it?
So they can find it on my website, www.kristaandrews.com, and Krista is Christa.
Perfect. So how do you think that your business actually help people? I know that, of course, you work with couples and everything, but besides just helping them with their marriage and everything else, how can you inspire people?
Just by living and breathing a good marriage, just serving as being a good role model, and not saying like, oh, look at me, I have the best marriage ever. I write on Facebook the struggles that we have, and I'm kind of like an open book. Like I have a funny story. It's not, it's kind of funny, but it's also a little bit messy. Do you mind if I share?
Oh yeah, sure. Go ahead.
So,
I just saw your laugh in your face, so I want to hear.
So when I became a published, I'm a big animal lover. When I became a published author, my daughter bought me a kitten. And then my husband had also planned a little getaway for us just to celebrate becoming the published author. So when I came back from my little trip with my husband, the kitty had pooped in the dryer, and I did not know this. And the first thing I do when I come back from vacation is wash my clothes. So wash the clothes, threw them in the dryer, thinking, I'm gonna have clean clothes. And then all of a sudden we started smelling something. And it was like, oh my God, we were like yelling, screaming, like, oh my God, what's happening? And then when we found out what it was, I was just like, all right, just leave me alone, I'll clean it. And he's trying to help me in the background. And I'm like, no, just leave me alone. I just don't need or want you here. And so he kind of, if this was 10 years ago, we would have gotten into a huge fight over it, but it was just kind of like, no, leave me alone. He knew to leave me alone. I cleaned it up. All is good. Like, but I wrote about that on Facebook because things get messy. It's like, yeah. So I think just being an authentic person myself and sharing the good, the bad, and the ugly to let other people know that it's not all perfect, but you can get through it as long as, you have the right attitude and the right tools in your toolbox, and you can get through anything.
I use that technique too. Just leave him alone, give me 5 minutes, and I'll get back to you. 5 minutes, please.
Yeah. Yeah, because sometimes you just need that. Years ago, he would have been like all over me, like, I need to help you. Let me help you. Like, but now, like, we've lived together so long and we've learned what each other needs are, that we're just like, okay, yep, you got it.
I love that. I love that. So let's
Thank
talk
you.
about the Author Academy. What can people find? How do we, that works? What service you given the Author
Yeah.
Academy?
So I'm actually writing my second book right now, which is a children's book, which will be published this coming year. And I'm also working on a third book. So it was when I wrote the first book, so many people reached out to me and they were like, I've always wanted to write a book. Can you help me with that? And so I was like, yeah, like, I want to be able to serve and help any way that I can. So I created Author Academy, and I take 5 students a month, and we spend 6 months together perfecting their book and going through every single thing that they're going to need to write, publish, and market their book. So it's something that I just started recently. And I've had a lot of people reach out, and I'm going through my first session right now, and I'm looking to take on 5 more readers, hopefully in next month also.
Congratulations on that one. And I
Yeah.
know the feeling. I also have 2 books, and they're in Spanish. And I'm right now writing the 3rd and 4th book also in Spanish. And then I was like, oh my God, I do not have not even 1 book in English. So that's like planned for the 2023, because I still
Yeah.
have to work on the ones that are going to be published in 2022.
Mhm.
But the same thing happened to me the first time that I published a book. People came to me. I did not do a academy. I just like help people who
Yep.
were struggling with publishing their books, or where they were going to do it, how they were going to do it. And I did help some people, but I did not create academy because I mean, I don't have time. I don't have time.
That is one thing. My husband and I, we had our children very young. So now we're only in our 50s and we have all adult children. So it's like I'm finding a lot more time that I never ever would have thought I would have had. So I'm enjoying all of this, and I'm enjoying like watching how my niece asked me to do a wedding, and then all of it unfolding and moving into a business, and then publishing a book, and then starting the Author Academy. It's just a wonderful
Everything
thing.
goes
Yeah, to watch it like all unfold, and it's all in service. Like I'm helping serve people in some way, shape, or form, and it's like very, very rewarding, and I just love it.
I know, because I mean, for example, I have 3 projects. I have a nonprofit that I help the community and everything. That's like my major business. And then I have 2 other projects. Both are for women's. And when I started a TV show, actually Being Power Woman was a project for Spanish speaker, not for English speaker. But since I have the other program that is in Spanish, the title is in Spanish, I was like, oh, wait,
Yep.
why can I not transform what I'm doing in English? So I'm in that process of transforming every service that we give out in Spanish, but under Be Power Woman, to English. And that's the reason why I said, okay, now I need a book. I have a podcast, a TV show, this, that, another thing. Now I need a book. So
You do. Let me know if I can help you with that.
of course, of course. So I think that things, when we do it from our heart, and that we know that we're helping other people, things just keep on going, and they take their own path, and wonderful things happen. So I do say congratulations in everything that you are doing. Now,
Thank you.
an advice that you can give to our audience, especially the couple ones?
So I love this little piece of advice that I give to all of my couples that do the premarital course. It's called the 3 elements of marriage, and it consists of you, your partner, and then the marriage itself. And if you take all 3 of those elements and say, is this working for myself? Is this working for my partner? And is this working for our marriage? You're going to build a strong, strong foundation, because a lot of people take one of those elements away and it can fall apart.
I love that. I love that.
Thank you.
Where can people follow you, contact you? All the information people need just to know, okay, Krista, I need help.
Yeah, so everything is on my website, www.kristaandrews.com, and it's spelled Christa, Krista.
Perfect. I'll add the website in the description
Okay.
of this video so
Perfect.
that people can actually go directly to your link. Krista,
Yeah.
this has been wonderful. I hope that we can do something else because I did enjoy our interview today. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. I enjoyed it so much too.
Well, thank you then. And all of you, thank you for watching Being Power Woman, the talk show. I hope you can join us next Thursday at 11 p.m. Eastern Time.